Aloha and welcome. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about using docstrings to document functions and also using the help function, the built-in help function to get that information out of the docstrings. So let's go ahead and take a look in VS Code right now. So if I pull up VS Code, we can see here, I've got a couple of functions defined here, and a docstring is essentially a string literal that we're going to put on the first line after our function definition. And that is going to give us information on the function. For simple, tiny functions that do like something like our square number here, we're just going to use a one-liner. We're going to tell it it takes an integer and returns the square of that number. That's pretty simple, self-explanatory. So we're just going to have the one-line docstring here. And if you want to use that, so if you want to actually look at that or make use of it, you do something like print help of square number. And notice that we're not going to be calling square number. We're just going to be sending in the function definition there. So we're going to be calling on its name, its identifier here. And by doing that, down here, it's going to actually, it's going to show us the square number, and it's going to show us our docstring here. So when you do run it, it puts it into this strange state. If anybody's worked with VI editor and things like that, you'll recognize this. You have to hit the Q button to actually exit out of that after you've done it. But anyways, this is just showing what happens when we use help to pull the docstring and give us information on the function square number. So I'll go ahead and comment this out. We can also make our special. We can also make these docstrings multi-line. So we start with the three single or double quotes, whichever one. We just have to end it with the same types that we started with. So we put the information into several lines here. And normally we put things like our inputs and our expected outputs and maybe what the function does. For larger, more complex functions, this is very important. So here we just have a made up one that does very little. And I will go in here and let's see, I'll uncomment this so we can actually look at what it does. So if we hit the play button here, we notice that it shows a special math problem, and it gives us this on all, it gives us like the 5 lines of help that it had. So this is very helpful if you're going and trying to remember what a function did. You may write your code right now, but in 6 months, you'll probably not remember what you've done because you've written thousands and thousands of lines of code in the interim. So it's nice to document things now for your future self and for the poor person that takes over your job at some point and has to read this maybe 7-10 years later. I've worked with software that's been in use for over 20 years, and it is extremely important to document your code so that you or somebody else will understand what it was doing all those years later. So please leave yourselves these little breadcrumbs that'll help you remember what you did. And also, while we're talking about the help built-in function here, we can use that to get information on other things as well. Like string is the str function. It's a built-in function, and we can get help on using that as well. So if we go over here, we have to hit Q to end that. We'll clear the screen. Then if we run this, we see that it gives us a lot of information. This is official documentation right here from the docstring. It's very nice, covers everything you need to know. It also tells you the, using strings, it shows you what your methods are that you can use on a string. So this is very helpful if you're trying to get more information. So not only can we do that for the built-in functions, we can also do it to get information about modules. So if we were to run this, we would see that, hold on just a second, let me quit out of this, and then we'll go ahead and run this again. And we get the math modules information here. So we have the name of it, the module reference, which tells you where to go online to find it. And if you scroll down, it's got the description, but it also tells you the functions that you have access to through the math library module. So this is very helpful if you're trying to figure out how to use it or leverage a lot of the functionality that's in there. So that's essentially the importance of the docstring. It gives you information that you can retrieve using the help command. You can use it for the functions that you write, as well as the built-in functions, as well as the modules that you may be importing. If we didn't have import here, it would give us an error. So we do have to import math before we can look at the help for math. So keep that in mind. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out to me in email. We can set up a Zoom chat to go through this more thoroughly if you like. But if not, then I will see you in the next lesson. Have a wonderful day.